Right. Forget everything you thought you knew about parliamentary procedure, because Nigel Farage just pulled off the most savage protest move in PMQ's history, and Keir Starmer absolutely did not see it coming. Picture this. The leader of Britain's fastest-growing political party, the man topping the polls, literally walks out of the Commons chamber, sits in the public gallery like a tourist with a packed lunch, and watches the Prime Minister squirm from the cheap seats. This isn't just political theatre. This is Farage writing, directing, and starring in his own one-man show titled How to Expose Parliamentary Hypocrisy Without Saying a Word. And honestly, it's brilliant, petty, and absolutely devastating all at once. Let me set the scene for you, because the context here is chef's kiss levels are perfect. Every single Wednesday, PMQs rolls around like clockwork. Prime Minister's Questions, that glorious half-hour political bloodsport where MPs get to grill Keir Starmer about literally anything while the nation watches with popcorn. It's supposed to be this grand democratic tradition where our elected representatives hold the government to account. Beautiful in theory, except there's a massive problem, and Farage just shoved it in everyone's face with the subtlety of a firework in a library. Here's the issue. Farage keeps getting absolutely battered during PMQs by Starmer and various Labour MPs. Week after week, they're taking shots at Reform UK, calling them names, questioning their motives, throwing shade like it's an Olympic sport. And Farage is just sitting there in the chamber, unable to respond, because the rules of PMQs mean he doesn't get a guaranteed slot to fire back. He has to enter a ballot, a literal lottery, for one of 15 speaking slots alongside every other backbench MP who fancies their chances. It's called the shuffle, which sounds cute until you realize it means Britain's third most popular political party, the one actually leading in national polls, has to play bingo just to defend themselves from government attacks. So what does Farage do? Does he write a strongly worded letter? Does he complain to the Speaker? Does he hold a press conference outside? Nope. The absolute madman decides if he's going to be treated like a spectator anyway, he might as well spectate in style. He walks out of the chamber, climbs up to the public gallery where normal citizens sit to watch Parliament, and watches PMQs from there instead. The same gallery where school kids on field trips and political nerds sit with their notebooks. Farage, an elected member of Parliament, watching his own colleagues from the nosebleed seats because the system is so rigged he literally has more influence as a protester than as a participant. The optics of this are absolutely devastating for Starmer and Labour. Think about what this communicates. Here's a Prime Minister banging on about democracy and representing the people, while the leader of a party that's consistently polling ahead of the Conservatives, and sometimes even challenging Labour, can't get a fair shot to respond to direct attacks. It's like being invited to a debate, then being told you have to sit in the audience with duct tape over your mouth while your opponent roasts you for 30 minutes. Not exactly the democratic ideal we're supposed to be celebrating, is it? Now let's talk about what sparked this particular protest, because Farage didn't just wake up feeling dramatic, though knowing him that's entirely possible. This all kicked off after Starmer branded Reform UK as Kremlin cronies sowing division during a previous PMQs. Let that sink in for a second. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, from the dispatch box, called a legitimate British political party with 5 elected MPs and millions of voters Kremlin cronies. Not alleged, not supposedly, just straight up accused them of being Russian assets in front of the entire nation. That's not political debate. That's McCarthy-era smear tactics, wearing a suit from John Lewis. And here's the kicker. When you make an accusation like that, any reasonable person would expect the accused party to have a chance to defend themselves immediately right there in the chamber. Nope. Farage has to sit there, take it on the chin, hope he wins the Speaker lottery next week, and maybe get 15 seconds to respond before getting shouted down by Labour backbenchers doing their best seal impression. It's political bullying dressed up as procedure, and Farage just called it out in the most visible way possible. The timing of this stunt is particularly spicy because Reform UK is absolutely smashing it in the polls right now. We're not talking about a fringe party here. This is a genuine political force that's consistently polling ahead of the Conservatives and giving Labour genuine nightmares about the next election. 5 MPs might not sound like much, but they are punching way above their weight in terms of public support. When a party with that kind of backing can't get fair treatment in Parliament, it starts looking less like democratic procedure and more like the establishment closing ranks to protect themselves from insurgents. Farage laid it all out on X, Because of course he did. The man knows how to work social media like he's conducting a symphony. He wrote, "Every week at PMQs I'm attacked by the PM and Labour MPs, but have no right of reply. I am just a mere spectator. So I have decided to spectate from the public gallery today instead." The shade, the absolute sass. He's basically saying if you're going to treat me like I'm not even here, I'll literally not be here, but in the most visible way possible. It's protest as performance art, and it's genuinely effective because now everyone's talking about the fundamental unfairness of the system. He even added, "There's not much point me even being there," which is both hilarious and deeply damning. An elected MP saying there's no point being in the chamber during the most watched parliamentary session of the week because the system is rigged against him? That's not just Farage being dramatic. That's a legitimate criticism of how PMQs functions when it comes to smaller parties. The Conservatives get guaranteed questions because they're the official opposition. The Lib Dems get their slot because they're the third largest party by seats. But Reform? Despite having massive public support, they are stuck in the lottery system hoping for crumbs. Now let's be real about what Starmer and Labour are doing here. They are playing a dangerous game. By repeatedly attacking Reform without giving them proper right of reply, they are creating a victim narrative that Farage can exploit brilliantly, and he absolutely is. Every week that passes with Labour taking shots while Reform can't fire back, more voters start thinking, hang on, that doesn't seem fair. And when those voters see Farage literally sitting in the public gallery like a civilian because the system won't let him participate properly, it reinforces Reform's entire message about the establishment being corrupt and disconnected. Thanks for watching UK Secrets, where we expose the stories Westminster hopes you'll ignore. See you next time.